Hello guys, I am Pugarendi, second year ECE student and PR and marketing team member of TechClub. How to grab an internship at IIT, the most renowned institution in the country, is the question which keeps bugging in most of our mind. We'll be clueless on whom to ask or contact about, but today is a great day for us. Here we have our honorable guest speaker, Mr. Rohit D, a former intern at Zyma Analytics, IITM Research Park, and currently working as RTL design lead in the same firm, is here to share his valuable experiences he gained during his internship at IITM. Now, without further delay, let us eagerly embrace the valuable insights he is about to share with us.
Hello guys, thanks a lot for the introduction. So let's get started with the meet, and thanks to all of you guys for attending the meet. Is my screen visible to all of you?
It's visible.
Okay, thanks. So I'm Rohit. I am a 2023 pass out. I studied EC only, and I had a great time learning a lot of stuff from SSN college. So I had the opportunity to do my full-time job at Zyma Analytics, which is a core company. And I am a hardware enthusiast. So I absolutely love what I'm doing. So I do know that a lot of you guys are interested in core jobs, which makes me extremely happy. And so thanks a lot for inviting me to the start. So let's get started. So I realized that a lot of you guys do not know, my own batchmates do not know where IIT Madras Research Park is. So people who work at Research Park do not know where the nearby IT park, which is Ramanujam IT Park. And the people who work at Ramanujam IT Park do not know where this research park is. So I just thought I'll let you guys know where it is. So it is, the Thiruvanmiyur railway station. So opposite there goes the road to your left, behind that Taj. So in that road, both the IT parks are there. So that is where this is. So in case you guys want to come for a visit, yeah, that is where it is, and you can come. So what is it? So this research park was founded in 2009. So it has been there for almost 14 years. And I had no idea about this research park's existence until last year when my college senior, 2 years senior to me, who was a 2021 pass out. So his name is Niranjan. He was a project associate working at IIT Madras. So he kind of knows all the companies which are there in this research park and people who are looking for interns. So he was a contact point for us to know about this internship. So he had introduced this place to us. And what kind of companies are there? So there are about 220 companies at the moment there, of which almost 30% of them are hardware companies. And there are a lot of deep tech startups. So the difference between a normal startup and a deep tech is that in this deep tech, the novelty is extremely high. So this is some kind of technology which no other company in this world will be using. So it'll be extremely new. So as this is extremely new and not yet proven, the risks are very high. So due to these risks being very high, the investors obviously have a lot of risk. And this IIT Madras has took up this initiative to be an incubator for these kinds of businesses. So they provide a great platform, help in connecting people, and do give out loans for all these startups. So there are about 80 deep tech startups in IIT Madras Research Park. And in these startups, you'll gain a lot of experience and knowledge if you're gonna work there or do an internship there. So it'll be a great exposure for you guys. So if you're gonna go for, let's say, abroad masters, and you have a plan of working for 2 years and then going there, working in companies like this will give you both research as well as industry experience. So you'll have a great SOP to write. The next slide is, so Zyma is one of the companies which is at IIT Research Park. It was founded in 2019, so it has been there for about 4 years. But the whole COVID thing happened, and almost a year it was not functioning. So I joined last year through Niranjan Anna. So in October 2022, he had put a post in the Discord server of TechClub only. There he put out a post saying there are opportunities at Zyme Analytics to do the role of FPGA intern. So at that moment, Rohit Ram and I. So Rohit Ram is my classmate. Now he's in University of Southern California doing VLSI. So please do invite him for the next talk. He's an amazing person and has a lot of technical knowledge. So we both were absolutely interested in this role, and we both decided to join. So we prepared proper resumes and uh, prepared for the interviews, and had gone in October for to join this company. And we both were selected, and we had to work for 6 months there. We got a 6 month duration to complete a project, and the uh, it was a performance based payment. So you have like three types of internships in India, right? So you have this training based thing where you pay the company, and you have companies which will pay you because they see you as a person who joins a full time there. So it's kind of like an investment for them. And there's the third kind where they'll tell based on your performance, you will get paid. So if you're performing well, they'll see a lot of talent in you, and they'll decide to fund you properly to so that you can build the project for them. And obviously, along with it, they'll give you your full-time offer. So in the starting months as an intern, it was a bit difficult. So as we joined in October, it's just like middle of our seventh semester, which started in around August. So it was like peak, probably Cat 2. So at that moment, I was not that focused on this internship as I would have liked to be, because I was a bit complacent at that time, because I was like, I got placed, I am getting decent average marks. Why should I do an internship? So my history is that I did not do an internship in my third year. So thanks to SSN college, they told you cannot go for an internship by bunking one day of the classes in a week. So thanks to SSN management for that. So I could not go for an internship in another company, say, a different startup who worked on EVs. So I missed that golden opportunity to work there. So again, obviously, second seventh semester, they wouldn't let me take off 2 days or a day of the week and go work somewhere else. So I had to plan accordingly. So this company was gracious enough to offer us work from home. So they would give us the FPGAs and whatever we need to our house, we can go collect it from the office and we can work on it. So that helped us a lot. But due to my laziness, for about 1 month, I did not show any interest, which is very wrong. I did not work. So they did not catch up on me also. So as a starter, they would not force you to do something. You have to do it on your own. So you should be driven by yourself to do the work. So around November time, we both started working, and we were able to deliver the product around February. So that is when they gave us a replacement offer, PPU, to join as a full time. So at that moment, I had got placed in a software company through college placements around August time. But then I was completely interested in joining here, and thus I did join here as a full time. So what all did they expect from me? So they expected us to work by ourselves. They would not spoon feed you or give you any kind of inputs. So in a startup, you have to just put in your own effort, show the results, and get the approval from them. So you cannot expect them to guide you in each step of the way on what you have to do. You would not have any kind of trainings. So everything should be done by you. So they expected us to come to office also at least 1 or 2 days a week. So I used to live in Thiruvanmiyur, so which is pretty close to the office. So I would come back home at 5 by college bus, and 6 o'clock I'll go by cycle to the office and come home by 8:30. And then at night sit and do assignments, obviously from another person, ChatGPT or something. I'll just do that. That is how my day went. And studying for exams, obviously the night before the exam is what we used to do. So we were able to balance it out. So work daily for 2 hours in the office, and then continue your work coming home late at night. So it was a bit hectic for till the end of seventh semester. And then in eighth semester, obviously you have only two subjects, and if you do NPTEL courses, you don't need to do that also. So in your eighth semester, it'll be very free. So in your seventh semester, if you guys are in the sixth or seventh, it'll be a bit hectic because of placements and the amount of projects you have in your sixth semester. Otherwise, you should find out the time during weekends to work on this. But that obviously depends on the company you're joining, and they should be okay with it. So how to transition from intern to full time? So as our they found our performance to be very good, and that is why they offered us a full time position. They gave it around February, and once I graduated college, around July, I had joined as a full time there. And most companies will have different procedures to join as a full time. So someone might require your provisional certificate, so you have to wait for that. SSN might give it a bit late. So all those technicalities will be there. But in most startups, if your performance is good, they'll definitely be happy to invest in you and give you a full time offer. But don't expect the pay to be as good as all MNCs. You have to be ready to put in a lot of effort for not that much amount of an offer. So it solely is based on your interests. So if your interests are good enough, you should be happy with that, with what you are doing. And the projects I am currently working on is as a full-time lead, you'll be working on various different projects, but not everyone gets the opportunity I got to work as a lead. So I am involved in almost 4 or 5 different projects with pretty tough deadlines. So you should be ready to handle different kinds of pressures when you're working in a startup. So if they found it to be very good, they'll definitely give you a high position. They always tell that working in a startup, your growth is going to be very fast. So joining last October, I was an intern, and then in February, I was obviously still an intern, but they still had few full-time employees working there. But if you perform better than them, they're gonna make you as the reporting person of those two employees. So that itself gives you a lot of exposure and how to deal with people. You learn how to manage your time. So all that are different skills you learn. And the challenges I have faced would be the fact that whatever I am doing is my own effort. So you should always be self-driven. And I am not that motivated as a person. So most sometimes I feel like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting in so much effort for this company? Why can't I just look for a much simpler job where you don't have that much pressure? So that kind of motivation is the most important. So you should keep telling yourself that what you're doing is good work. Even if you fail, you should be able to get back up again. That is one of the most difficult phases of my life and of not my life, my career, which was pretty short, which was around May to June. I was extremely stuck at my job and I didn't know what to do and no one guidance. So at that moment, it is better if you have obviously contacts and then you can contact them and they'll help you out. So there'll be different challenges you'll be facing. So before you want to join a startup, you should know how it is. So obviously, they have perks and challenges. So a startup is pretty small, obviously, as it suggests in the name. So maximum there'll be 20 to 30 employees. So what you're doing will be your own work. So you have to take responsibility for what you're doing. So which means the decisions you make is going to affect your workflow in the future. So if you do not put in enough effort in the beginning stages and you have a deadline, you're going to pay for it. And it might have its own consequences. So you are kind of your own boss. No one is going to tell you, do this at this moment and guide you on each step of the way. So you get to control what you're doing. So let's say you extremely like to do one kind of task. So you can completely focus on that and make things work based on that. So you do not have any kind of uh, complications where you have to do something which you do not like and you might be uninterested. You get to make your own decisions and you can be happy with that. There's going to be no one to force you. And you own the project because There'll be multiple projects in a startup. And unlike an MNC where one project is going to have at least 30 to 40 people working on it, and you'll just be a small part of it. And most of the time, you don't know what the other person is doing. In this case, you get to do the whole code, whole design. You get to make your own hardware. All that is pretty cool stuff. So when you're working on it, you feel that enthusiasm to keep going more and more and more. And by the end of the deadline, you would have your own project in your hands. And that is one of the best feelings ever. You would have worked 6 months of your life on something. And when it comes to the working condition and the client buys from you, that kind of happiness is immense. And next is your exposure. As you're in a startup and you're doing your own project, knowing one single task is not enough. You should know A to Z in terms of, let's say, building a prototype. So you might want to do it in a simulation. So simulation means you're going to go for something simple like MATLAB or Python. You'll do it in that first. And then you will shift to your Verilog coding as what we do at our company. And then you would make your PCB design for that. And then which is done using Fusion. And then you see the final product. So there are a lot of different languages you learn, a lot of different techniques and softwares you should be knowing. And just because I am a hardware person does not mean that I should not do software. So there is signal processing. So at the moment, my role has almost shifted from RTL person to almost signal processing. So right now I just do C programming for various different filters and optimization techniques. So that is kind of my role right now. So it keeps shifting. So you should know everything. And of course, growth in a technical knowledge in all kinds of fields. It won't be like you'll be a master of all, not just one single task. So in terms of your growth or when you're shifting companies, you'll have a lot to uh, tell at the interview. And it should be obviously a good thing for you to get the next role. But coming to the challenges is, of course, it's your own project. So you should own up to it and you should work on it yourself. No one is going to spoon feed you. That is one of the biggest problems which you would face, as you might feel stuck for almost 2 weeks in a row. You would try something and it wouldn't work for, let's say, 2 weeks. Every single day, every single morning, you should go there and tell it yourself. Try something new. Think of something. Let's just push aside our past failures and move towards the end goal. And randomly, you just click. So that kind of positive attitude should be there. If it is not there, it will not suit you. And you should be self-driven. You should work on it yourself. And yes, there's no proper guidance. In your company, you might not have a lead person who's specialized in the project you're working on. In that case, you will become the lead automatically. So you might have a few interns working under you, and you should be able to tell them what to do. So they look up to you for guidance. Right? But you might not have someone to look up to for guidance. But in that case, it is fine. You can always reach out in the LinkedIn community, or your CEO or your management people are going to have a lot of contacts. So the startup ecosystem is very useful in this aspect, as all companies are connected with each other and have very good connectivity. So you can easily ask the other person on what to do or for some guidance. So in that case, you should be ready to communicate with other people. You should not be a cocoon. You should be able to expand your wings and talk to a lot of people and communicate easily your problems or the things you find out. And now coming to the main part of how to grab an internship. So at IIT Madras Research Park, the best kind of thing is to come in person, which your current fourth years have done. Like hats off to them. This year, June or July, a few of them had come to the research park and they went to different companies of their interest and just gave out their resumes, like, please do interview us. And that was amazing. I was just shocked at their confidence and their attitude towards getting an internship and working on it. So that would be the best kind of way you can come here and join at different companies. the thing is that in startups, year round, they'll be looking for interns and full time. So as the project keeps on expanding or rotating, at that moment, the interns who join will play a significant role in the shaping of that. So you should not wait for your summer time to apply or the winter. Just apply whenever you think you'll have your free time, and by that itself, a few companies might be looking for interns at that point. So you can search for which all companies are there at the research bar by going to the website. They have a list of the different companies which are there, or you can directly go to LinkedIn and search for the companies. And on LinkedIn, you can contact the CEO or the hiring person, what do you call it? The management people themselves directly, and they'll definitely respond to you because they're always looking for fresh talent. And of course, coming from SSN, they're gonna know that you guys are talented, so they'll be happy to take you. And of course, you can contact your seniors who are working there or who are also working there because they're gonna have those contacts and they'll be able to tell you which companies might be suitable for you and might have an openings. Coming to your resume building, I am telling this all these tips as from the point of view as a person who has interviewed people. So I am not telling it to you as a person who has interned there, but how I found out the interns who are applying to have performed. So from the resumes from which I have seen, they put a lot of projects which are not relevant to the role at all. As I told before, in a startup, there are not going to be many people. So the person belonging to the project is going to interview the intern, and they'll have almost 50 resumes. So I have to personally go through them or the person who's interviewing you. And of course, we do not have the time at startups to go through each person's resumes properly. So if you're gonna put random projects, like if I'm gonna hire you for a C role and then you put Python projects, that is not going to make the cut. It is just going to give an impression to me that you do not read the proper job role and you just applied using your basic resume. So you should tailor your resume based on the job role and the company. You should most importantly learn about the company before applying so that you can craft your resume accordingly. If you mention your relevant projects, the person is going to understand that you have done different projects in this field and you'll be capable enough to handle the work and the pressure at this place. And of course, keep it to one page. I have seen this format of yours. So last week only, there was an interview process at our company, and a few assistant people had applied from Tripoli. I was surprised there were no ECE people, and this format was just not. It was too shabby, the assistant format, and it had a lot of stuff which was not needed, like coursework. Like I'm obviously gonna know what the coursework is, so putting that in the resume is going to be very cluttered. It is not going to look presentable. So just put the relevant projects and your technical skills. That will itself help you a lot on getting selected for the next round, which is your interview. The It looks a bit bad when the person does not know about the company. So it gives off the impression that you do not put in enough effort to know about what the company does itself. Then why would you even apply for the company if you want to work there? So that is the most important thing. That's the major turn off about a person. If you're not gonna know about the company, it's gonna show that you're not that interested in it. So even if you know have all the technical knowledge and the projects, it shows off your attitude that you're not that eager or keen to work on this. And when asked about the projects, go in detail about it. You can take 10 to 15 minutes, explain the project if it is relevant to the role, and tell how this project might be related to what is going on in the company. So let us say you have done a project on communication protocols and the company's role requires you to know about SPI, UART, JTAG. It'll increase your chance of getting selected greatly if you go in detail on the projects you have done and the contributions you have made. You might have probably done a team project. So in that, your teamwork also matters and how your individual contribution was also done matters. And of course, you should have a strong technical knowledge for the role. Based on the job role, prepare for the interview at least few days before. go through all these websites. You have a lot of websites to know about what will be asked in a general, let's say VLSA role or C role. I'll come for the interview. And your attitude, which is your eagerness and how keen you are to work in the company and to take on projects. So people will tell you what kind of project is being done on the company, done in the company. So you should be keen on it and ask more questions. So it will show off that you're interested in it and you would be of value to the team because that will show that you're motivated to do it and you will be a driven person also. So that's about it. And I want to show the FPGAs and the ADCs which you are working on. This is yes.
Yes, I
So this is a Xilinx FPGA. So you guys are in majority of are in third year or second year?
Second years.
Second year. Okay. So in a third year, in a third year in a VLSI lab, you'll be working on Xilinx FPGAs, Verilog, and VLSI. So in that you'll be using a kit and doing basic coding. So this is kind of the FPGA which will be used in industries. So this is a Xilinx Pink board in which you can connect your interfaces and work at up to 500 megahertz. And that board costs around 18,000. So you can just take it home if you're working on in my company. You can in most of the companies they let you do that. So it's actually a great thing about working in startups. It's very free flowing. They'll give you a lot of what do you tell? They'll let you take all these things home and work from home. You don't have to be constrained like working in office, all that. And this is another FPGA. And this thing costs about 25,000. So this is a slightly lower version than that, but this is an industrial grade board. And this is a PCB. So in this, you can connect your ADC, you have to solder it yourself and integrate this with the FPGA. And coming to the ADCs, it is extremely small. So you see this, it is smaller than your fingernail. Sorry for the shaky hands. There's a bit of adrenaline going on. So this thing costs about, this small chip costs 14,000. And I hope this thing works. So the PCB you do, you have to put this ADC on top of it, give it to a soldering company. It is called as wave soldering. So as you saw in this ADC, it does not have legs. So if you have legs, you can automatically solder it on the PCB. So what is wave soldering is, you apply lead on this pad and then you heat it up to 100 degrees and using a machine you place the ADC on it. So this is extremely cool stuff which you wouldn't be able to see if you're working in, let's say, an MNC. Whereas if you're working in a startup, you get to do all this by yourself. So to be honest, I'm extremely grateful to learn about all these techniques. So, and the final one is this bad boy right here. So this thing is the costliest thing we own. This has a 14-bit ADC in this FPGA. So this is the FPGA. So this is the die, and this is the external circuitry. You'll get to see this in your lab, and these are your. This is where you connect your coaxial cables. As these are working in high frequency, these are actually gold plated. So it's pretty cool stuff. And this thing costs about 1.2 lakhs, and you get to work on it. So it's pretty cool stuff. So you guys have any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
Hi, Ajitesh here.
Yes, bro.
I'm just curious about the projects which you put in your resume for this RTL design role. What kind of projects did you work on for, like, before applying for this role?
When I was applying for this role, I applied for the intern position. So I was in my fourth year. At that moment, I had about three major projects. So one was using Atmel 32 processor, I guess, not processor, Atmel 32 chip. The thing they use in the Arduino is Atmel 328, that microcontroller. Using that, I had built a embedded system solution for motor controls used in a defense startup. So that was one of the projects. And another was for Hackfinity, we made one Raspberry Pi product which does automatic fire detection and rodent detection at cutdowns. So in your farming cutdowns, you'll have your wheat, rice, different products, and obviously mice infestation and insects are gonna be your most problematic stuff. So for that, use a camera and then detect if there are mice and such kind of solution. So run an ML model in your Raspberry Pi, attach different sensors. And then another thing was E-Yantra. Do you guys know about E-Yantra? IIT Bombay. They conduct a yearly competition for robotics called E-Yantra. You guys should definitely participate on that. That is how I knew that I like VLSI. So it's conducted by IIT Bombay and the registration start around I think September time. Okay, sorry, over. Next year, please do. So in September time, they'll open the registrations and they'll have different categories. So for software also they'll have for embedded, for VLSI. So Rohit Ram and I were like super interested in that. We participated along with two other of my classmates, and they literally sent us a Intel D10 Nano FPGA board home, and with that we should make a pick and place robot. In that also we get a lot of experience from uh, using Fusion 360 to make mechanical models as well as PCB design. So that was the best project which we had done in our college. So these three projects are the main things.
And when did you do this? Like around third, fourth semester, or during your third year?
So this Atmel based project was in my second year, and in my third year was eYantra, and then Hackfinity was also in my third year. So when I joined college, I was like super confused on what I wanted to do. So in my first year, I tried out like doing software projects and using Python and then web development in my second year. And I realized that is not my thing. And then I moved on to embedded systems. And I was interested in that. And then tried VLSI, and that was the best ever. And then in my fourth year, I did this project on meta surfaces from under KT Selvan sir for my final year project. So I had covered antennas also, but that was just too much theoretical stuff going on. I am not very good at EMF. So that was a big no for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any more questions, people?
Actually, we're talking about how we have to customize our resume for each company that we are applying to. Can you just explain more about it, because I'm not really sure how we have to.
Okay, so may I know your interests?
To be very honest, right now I'm still if I'm not yet actually decided on something.
That's very normal. I was also at the stage in my life till third year, so it's very normal. So let us say there is this company which is like super cool in VLSA. Let's say Mindgrove. Mindgrove is the leading startup at IIT Madras who work on chips, VLSA chips. They are making their own processors. India's first one. That is like that was like my dream company to join, but I had already joined in Zyma in October. I should not be saying this, but still, that was my dream. And obviously, you just go where life takes you. So let's say you're applying at Mindgrow, and they're looking for uh, okay. In terms of second year, do you know about digital design? And you have worked on ICs using AND gates, NOT gates, and probably Arduinos. So they're looking for embedded systems person, then you should explain the projects which you have done using your Arduinos and then your digital ICs to show that you have done a project on that. Or let's say they are hiring a person for their software team for backend development of their websites. Then you should highlight only your software projects. Let's say Python, JavaScript, Java, the projects you have done. You should elaborate. Let's say you do not do a project on that, but you want to explore working there. I am sorry to say this, but at startups already there are less number of people working. So if you do not have prior experience by doing a project in that field, you might not make the cut that easily. Because if you do not know or have worked in that field before, the person has to train you there. So the training is going to take 2 to 3 months. So that would be valuable time which would be spent by the company, and it is also risky because you might not join as a full time there. So due to startups being very cash strapped as well as having very little amount of time, they might not select you. So if you're gonna apply for a role, at least have one project which you have done in that specific field. That will definitely set you apart, Miles.
Bro, there's a person who is asking his doubt through chat.
Chat. How did you? Oh, he is basically our year legend, Rohit Ram. He's your tech. He was your tech club VLSI. What do you call leader? No, sorry, VLSI. Unmute மட்டும் பேசுறா.
Hi.
Yes. Come on.
Yeah. Yes,
Introduce yourself. Come on.
Yes, hi. I am Rohit Ram, the worst version of the Rohit you're speaking to right now.
This man is in USA.
Yeah, that's okay. That's something. And I see Anushka and Hariharan on the guest list. I think they just put in that.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. Yes. Yeah, me and Rohit together did our internship at Zyma. So, yeah. But he still hasn't answered the question though.
How did you decide to do your projects on your own? Purila. On your own?
How did you suddenly decide that you will do a project and you start doing it?
Generally in your college years, Kekriya.
Yeah.
Excellent question. Actually, I do not. To be honest, I do not. Main motivation is obviously this guy participating in competitions. Whenever a competition comes, Rohit Ram and I, first person to just jump into it and start doing it. So that is how I learned a lot of stuff. So that's kind of mutual understanding. Yes. There was this microprocessor startup challenge. When we were in second year, there was this Swadeshi microprocessor challenge. So that is where we both became friends. So we both saw this poster. We still don't know where we saw that poster for that competition. So we saw that, and we decided, okay, we need some mentor to guide us. And then we met Joseph Gladwin. There was this professor named Joseph Gladwin, but he quit college when so he quit college when we were in third year, and he started a startup in IITM Research Park only. It's called Big Cat Wireless. So he had also asked for interns to join his company when we were in fourth year, but it was too much expectations from him. He expected us to come from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, 5 days of the week. And obviously, I was not that motivated to go there. So, and of course, we started working in Zyma already. So we had approached him, and then he rejected us, kinda. So we, along with a few other people, decided to just participate on our own. And we wanted to make data acquisition system. Yes. We wanted to replicate an oscilloscope using FPGA. So integrate an ADC with an FPGA and display it in a waveform. So you see all those big numbers.
Yeah, it costs a lot.
in your
We
college.
try to make it
Yes.
less
So right
efficient,
now,
cost efficient.
if you guys wanna know, I am revealing trade secrets of Saima Bastil. So it doesn't matter anyways. But right now, this would be the size of your oscilloscope. So this is the project I have done at Zyma. It took me 1 year, 3 months exactly. So last month only I finished making this project. So this is the FPGA, super small, and this is your ADC. This is the ADC chip. This thing works at 250 megahertz. So it does heat up a little bit, and pretty costly. This thing costs about 7,000 rupees. And this small boy here is about, I think, 10,000. So all these FPGAs was I got it by myself. So as your own boss in your startup, you should buy whatever equipments you need, and much questions won't be asked. So you should decide. You should read the data sheet. I have probably read about 600 pages of data sheet in past uh, 6 months, trying to figure out which will work, which won't work, which is cost effective. So you see the oscilloscope size. So that is the original product of Zyma. So that thing costs a ton. It costs like 2 lakhs, and it's very big. So me along with a few other people have got this size down to that small. You saw it is like the size of my palm. That's it. Wait, I got sidetracked. என்ன சொல்ல வந்தேன்? So yes,
I,
so our second year goal of building this data acquisition system has finally been completed after 2 years. Who would have thought? So that is like a major win for us.
yeah, that was wholesome. My own accelerator is a stretch of answer, but yes, it was accelerator. Nah, actually, uh, yeah, but I came in when you were explaining about how you were like deciding how you were going for EMF and ADC and all that. Like
Uh,
when you're telling you were like for me it was always, I think for me it was a battle between ML and VLSI. So for the first 2 years of my college, I was like, I'll just go do machine learning and finish up whatever I have to do. But then over like I think in the second year, during the end or something, uh, there was this one trend that just suddenly got shifted. I think when we were in first years, there was like this increasing importance towards like creating new kind of avatars and stuff. If people who are familiar with machine learning should be able to tell about GANs, generative adversarial networks. So it's just like basically for the people who do not know, it's just like you create a new image based out of images of the similar items. So it's like you see so many fashion items and then you create your own dress. It's something like that. And then I saw the volatility of the machine learning field. Like I personally did not resonate with the volatility. It just kept changing, and I was not for the fast pace. So in the second year, I had the similar thing where I didn't know what to do because I was hands full with embedded systems, web dev, and VLSI. Yeah, and that thing went, and then I went VLSI, and yeah, when I went into VLSI, I was pretty new. I mean, at least Rohit here has really good experience on embedded, considering that I didn't know soldering till when I was in like
so
second year
all
when they taught this in like the electrical engineering lab. But this man had done soldering when he was in like 11th or
I
10th. I don't know. So yeah, I had to start new, but then when I did start, I think I gave my fullest. So, and I am for my final year, I just like mixed whatever I knew from machine learning and VLSI, and I was able to do the accelerator. I think that is my story as of now. Yes.
we almost together did the FIP together,
Yeah.
but something sus happened in third year and third
Yes.
year end, and we split ways. So I
No,
had
but then
gone to KT Selvan sir, and you went to Muthu Meenakshi ma'am.
I went to KK answer, but yeah, that's a story. Yes. Yeah, you have
So
questions in the chat.
yes. So in case you guys wanna decide on your final year projects, wait, you guys are in second year, sorry. So if you guys are in third year and confused about final year projects now, if you wanna continue what Rohit Ram is doing now, go meet Muthu Meenakshi ma'am. And if you wanna continue what I was doing with KT Selvan sir, go meet him. I'll come to Vishal's question after this Anshul's question. So about this EMF antenna, so there's this, oh, this is giving kind of trauma about the stuff we had done for the final year project. So you have something called as a meta surface. So a meta surface is the planar array of antennas. So you will have multiple antennas on a single plane. It can be flat or any different kind of surface, curved, rectangular, square, anything. In that, you place different antennas which are equidistant from each other, and you connect those antennas to your feed line, and you transmit, of course, your signals. So you want to control where your signal is being transmitted. So to explain it simply for you guys, second and third years. So let's say you have a dipole antenna, just a straight line. If you see in old mobile phones of the 2020, not 2020, sorry, 2000s, you'll notice that you can extend that antenna. So that'll have kind of almost, because it's a dipole. So it has its own characteristic radiation. So it'll have, how do I explain the structure? I forgot the structure name, but you can Google it. So it'll have a specific radiation pattern where it will be pointed at one direction. So let's say your Wi-Fi router is to my west, that side, and I am using my phone here. So my Wi-Fi module in my laptop is going to transmit it in all directions. It will transmit in omnidirection. So that is going to be a waste of energy, obviously, because your Wi-Fi router is that side, but your Wi-Fi in your laptop is transmitting in all directions. So you want to direct that beam towards your Wi-Fi, so that increases your gain, because all the energy is sent in only one particular direction. So if you want to do that, you need to use meta surfaces. So in that, you apply different signals to different antennas on the meta surface plane, and you would have learned about convergence and all, what do you call it, split theorem. Shit, I forgot the name. So all mathematical formulas you'll apply, and you'll come to the conclusion that the antenna, yes, interference, yes, thanks Hariharan, thanks EMF. Constructive interference and destructive interference. It's been almost 1 year since, not 1 year, it's been about 8 months since I've done that. I'm glad to be away from that subject. It was a bit difficult. So best are constructive interference, destructive interference. On all these sides, to your east side, it will destructively interfere. And to your west side, where the router is, all your waves from the individual antennas will constructively combine and get sent to the Wi-Fi router. So all the energy is sent there. This is how your 5G is going to work, where you point your radiation beam towards your your 5G tower, which is going to give you a very high data rate. So this is one of the most upcoming technologies. This has been existing only for the past 3 or 4 years. You can look up research papers. So you're dealing with a lot of amount of data, which you have to transmit in a very small amount of time. So you need to work at nanosecond level, picosecond level, for which, of course, you need FPGAs or specific chips, which can work at that level of frequency. And that was my plan, to combine VLSI along with antennas. So that should have been a final year project, but things did not go according to plan. So in third year, my classmates and I did this antennas project. We submitted it to IEEE APS Denver. We worked along with a PhD student who is now in, I have bad memory, who is now in US. That's it. I forgot it. So we had helped her and we published the paper together. So Katie Sarvan sir wanted us to continue our research paper as a final year project, but I was not into it. I wanted to move to VLSI. So I decided let's just combine best of both worlds and do VLSI and antennas together. But at the end, it turned out to be very complicated because this project is worth PhD level people. It'll take at least 2 to 3 years. So we kind of left it halfway hanging and just left college. So we completed the simulation part, which is just 25% of the work. I just submitted our thesis and just told Tata bye bye. So if you guys are interested in exploring different fields, you should go talk to your professors. They're actually very helpful. You guys should have met Gino sir by now, like the friendliest person, honestly. He only got us interested in embedded systems and doing a lot of projects. So you should meet your professors. And now, was that helpful, Anshul? Okay, I'll move to Vishal's question. Okay, so you want to start your own VLSI startup? Yes. So first you have to do your market research. So what is needed by the market? And accordingly, you should try to find out products which you can deliver to the person facing the problem. And that is where it starts. So you have the Smart India Hackathon. So in that, different companies will give their problem statements. So you can go search in that list of what are problems are there in the field. That will be a good starting point. In that, you can go through different SIHs. So you can go to the website, see different years, what are the problem statements were there, check. As you're in your second year or third, you might not know what the industry is facing right now, or if you do know, that's great. So as a starting point, know what the problems are there, and it's going to be very difficult to start your startup in VLSI, as in India, for the past 5 years only, startups have started coming up in the field of VLSI. And IIT Madras proudly hosts 3 of them, which is an amazing thing. Because to start a company to make chips, it is going to require a lot of funding. Because to be honest, in your average software project, if you fail, nothing major is gonna happen. It's just that you're just gonna reboot your server if it overloads, or just fix a normal bug. That's not gonna cost any money. Whereas if you look at your hardware sector, especially VLSI, you design a chip. And to design a chip, you need a lot of license tools. So those license tools will go up to almost 20 lakhs per month of usage itself, extremely costly. So you have to be able to fund for that. And you should find out your clients. Thing is that around your globe, people as of now do not have that much trust in India because it's just starting. So they have high hopes, but they're not giving enough uh, uh, things for us to do, for us to sell. So they don't want that much product from us. So as it is starting, it is going to be very difficult to acquire clients. So that is another issue. And the final thing being fabs. So in VLSI, of course, you design your own chip, you have to fabricate it. So in India, currently you have, I think, 180 nanometer technology, which is there in Punjab, and that is about it. And IIT Madras also has its own fab. It is there, but obviously it's very small scale and it is used only for research purposes. So if you do want to do your startup, first try to get experience by working in a VLSI startup, and which there are about 3 startups in IIT Madras Research Park: Sign Off Semiconductors, Migrove, and sorry, P Semi Semiconductors. 3. There are 3. So you must definitely apply for them. Contact them on LinkedIn. And if you want to work purely on research, you have your IIT Madras itself gives you this role where you work on this. I think Swadeshi processes only. I forgot the term for that, but you can mail professors who are working on that, and you can get to work on their chips, which they have already made one. So it's a pretty big thing to work on. So did I answer your question? Shakti and Vivek. How much should we invest if we want to do this? First, you should find out like-minded people from your own friends circle. Look around you. You should have a common goal, and you should have a lot of trust. Let's say you should start. You're in your third or second year, so you have 2 years of time. You can. People have started their own startup when they're in college itself, but those are majorly software or product based, like giving of t-shirts or gift boxes, something like that. So if you want to do it in this extremely niche field of VLSI, you should have a lot of knowledge in that. So try to do a lot of projects in these 2 years, learn a lot of stuff, contact your professors, go to IIT Madras and work under those professors. They'll give you the best kind of experience. And there you will find more like-minded people. And then you yourself will be able to find out if you have people to start your startup or whether you should join a startup yourself. And in terms of investment, I do not know. I am not in the VLSI startup field. So sorry to tell you, but I do not know like the exact amount you would need. I cannot advise you on that. So any more questions? No problem.
I mean, yes, to be fair, yeah. So like the VLSI startup industry is a weird industry. I mean, like as you have in software, you have service VLSI companies and you have product making VLSI companies. And I am assuming that when you say a VLSI startup, Rohit explained the product side. So yeah, there is very large headroom on how you make something product based. Like yeah, we call that spin-off. So when a product goes bad, so there are three steps of a VLSI design. First is the design, and then second is the verification, and third is the physical design validation stage. So usually, when it goes to validation, they get the fabricated chip and then they validate it, they manually validate it. And if it goes wrong, they again go back to design and it costs a lot. So he did mention all the product side. I would like to mention the software, the services side. So there is this place where like companies just outsource manual work, not manual work to be exact. They just outsource stuff that they can't do. So where India is a really big hub for verification. So if you see companies in Bangalore, you would see Intel, you'll see Nvidia, and you'll see the likes of that in Bangalore. What do they do here is they don't do the design. What they do is they mostly do the verification part. So some set of engineers in US or in the Europe design the chip. They send the specification and send the netlist of the designed Verilog file, and then in India they do verification. So for verification they use different tools like UVM, TLM, System C. I think MindGroove uses something called BlueSpec, and there are like different technologies they use. So there are startups in India that mainly do the verification side, and there are startups that do physical design. So there will be companies that just come to a startup and say that I have an area of I have 10. They have a unit. I'll just like make it simple for you guys. It'll be like I have 10 millimeter square. I have a chip for 10 millimeter square. I want to reduce the area, and then there'll be this one startup. They'll just figure out one way to reduce the area better, and then they'll just apply it across the board and make sure the functionality of the chip is still right. So that's the thing. So there are different types of VLSI startups, and I am assuming that you wanted to go for the product ones, and I would say that it's really hard. People who do masters do VLSI startup. Uh, People who finish bachelors, it's hard. Uh, I would put it in the impossible range, but then I don't know. I can't be the judge for that. As per like how much do I invest in a startup? A lot. I mean, you have your Cadence Virtuoso, as you said, costs 20 lakhs per month for a for around 100 people, I think, for license. And if you have an education license, I think each server costs about 1,500 rupees.
Oh.
So each server access to an education server is 1,500 rupees, and it depends on which thing you're taking. So I think our college has Virtue, so um, the minimal version, it has the layout only. It does not have the Excel and GXL. If you're gonna do a start, and you will have NC Verilog also, like Verilog la type on automatic physical design la marra mari, all that. You would need those for a startup because you need to keep doing, and those will cost more. I mean, education will only let you do till L, layout L வரைக்கும் தான் allow பண்ணும். It will not let you go to layout Excel and layout GXL. And considering your tool costs, if you're doing physical design, is 20 lakhs per month, and then on top of that, you're supposed to do functional verification and functional design. That Cadence does not do. That is done by Synopsys, and Synopsys has their own rate. I think Synopsys takes 1 crore for a year. I am not completely sure on that, and they have user access as well. So yeah, that's 1 crore, and you have 20 lakhs per month. That will amount to another set of crore, and 20 to 30 people is not enough, not at all. Because for design alone, you need a architect, you need a computer architect, a computer architect team, you need a design team, you need a verification team, and on top of that, you need a validation team. Each team will have necessarily 10 people, 10 to 15 people. So 4 times 15 is 60. You need 60 people initially to do a full product VLSI company. But then if you are going to do the services side, you can imagine it cuts to the 15. Whichever part you're trying to do, you can cut it down to that much. And yeah, that's pretty much the VLSI startup scene now. And fabrication is yet another big story. I mean, there are import costs that you have to pay for your own chip. I mean, I know Rohit should have been okay. When I had bought my FPGA, it was 50% of the initial cost, so which is pretty high.
I wasted so much money in like 2 months. But startups are pretty chill about that. They care about your uh, the effort you put in, and it's fine if you waste money on R&D. Just don't be lethargic and just chill. Just because it
Yeah.
pays, you should not give up and just quit. I did almost quit in like just 2 months of joining. I was like, oh no, like I failed so much. I don't want to continue. And then a few seniors in my company talked me out of it. That was a nice experience. So you should be ready for all these failures, and a lot of investment will go on R&D.
Yeah. And I think you have another question. How do I get sponsorship?
If you want to get sponsorship from IIT Madras now, you should run your PhD or MTech from IIT Madras, and the professors there will help you set up your company there. So if you want to do a startup in IIT Madras, you have to be an alumni of IIT Madras. Otherwise, you can't. And IIT Madras does give a pretty big seed fund. So, and of course, you have the IIT Madras tag itself that is going to fetch you a lot more investors, your angel investors and different companies. Your own clients will be ready to sponsor you. So, getting into the IIT Madras is the first difficult part, and that itself help you get a lot of investments. What's it? Decides and explain to the sponsors. What are some sponsors which I can approach on? I do not know any VLSI
டிசைன்லாம் கண்டுக்கவே
Yes.
மாட்டேன். அது என்ன பிரச்சனைனா, that's the thing, no, like நம்ம ஜைமால இருந்தபோதே the CEO did not care about how we did the design, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, he
But
just
he's
like
asking
எனக்கு இது
for
ஒர்க்
more
ஆகணும்.
VLSI, lah.
Yeah. I mean, like considering what Vishal is saying, I think he's trying to be like trying to get to the place where he's industry oriented. So like,
Oh, okay. So you want to get sponsors now? You should be able to solve their problems. That itself will sell you, right? You don't have to specify, okay, this is where I placed my transistors, and this is where I placed my resistors, capacitors. This is my trace time. You don't need to get into any of those details. You just need to solve their problem and how fast and with how less monetization you can. That is going to get you the investors.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. I mean, what are some sponsors that I can approach? I mean, if you're going for the product-based VLSI design, nobody would sponsor you. Even like big name companies will not sponsor you unless you have a valid research paper. Uh, it's a very research paper oriented thing. I mean, whatever you see right now, you see chips that have real-time ray tracing, you have multi-threading, you have simultaneous processing, multi-processors, you have network on chips, you have system on chips. They were all a research paper. So if you're gonna do a product-based VLSI design, you need a research paper, and if you need a research paper, you need to have like masters or PhD, and mostly they'll only take PhDs. Masters also, they aren't that much of like it's not much of research, but PhDs, yes. If you're gonna do a project-based VLSI, yes. But then if you're gonna do services, like just see the market and say, okay, I'm trying to fill this gap. Uh, what Zyma did was basically fill the gap where industrial sensors needed to have a high-speed data acquisition, and they needed to have it in a very low rate. So I'm thinking that's what they're trying to solve. So,
Yes,
so I think they bought it. I think generally it costs about 7 lakhs, and then they bought it down to uh,
30,000.
30,000. So that's 30,000 is a big number. So it's always like that. It's if you're trying to do the service side of things in VLSI, I mean that's one way to go through it. You don't need to approach sponsors specifically. You can just band up together, register your own company, and then provide your services, and then you can do a contract based thing. But other than that, there isn't much you can do for sponsors. Like if you're gonna do all those cadence and synopsis thing, I don't think so. You'll have a sponsor unless you've done your PhD and have a valid research paper on hand. Yeah.
Thank you,
And
Naveen.
in that's it. Someone wanted to speak there.
So I think they told thank you or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
so how in startups how people get clients is that uh, sometimes you would know that delivering it on time, or you would not even know how to solve that problem statement. You would just tell the client, you'd actually just straight up lie to the client that you'd be able to do it, it is possible, and then you start working on how to do it and you'll try to solve it. So that kind of winning mentality should always be there. So uh, in my own experience, right now for two products I have delivered in the past 2 months. And one, yes, we knew that it is possible, and then we delivered it 2 weeks behind deadline, and it was a success. Whereas the second one, which I did not have much confidence on, and the rate at which data should be acquired and processed, what they expected is 5 seconds. So the current product, which Zyma offers, does it at once every 12 seconds. So we should bring it down by almost half, more than half. But at the moment, right now, I have been able to bring it down to only 7 seconds, and I still have few more seconds to cut down. And I have no idea how to do it. And the deadline is coming January, and it's just it'll work or it won't work. Just somehow try to finish it. That should be that kind of mentality you should be ready to have if you want to deliver products and get clients. You cannot be very realistic with them. So it's kind of like uh, telling too good about yourself when that's not the case. So that's how startups work. Any more questions?
Hello, bro.
Yes.
You want to say that? Okay, right. So, I just had this doubt. Apart from IIT Madras Research Park, where else can we, try for internships, which would provide flexible timing, considering the college schedule?
Let's considering SSN, I feel you. Flexible timings in other places. You should try in IIT Madras itself. So you should contact those professors, and they'll be happy to let you go and work in the labs. But you should put in a lot of effort. And outside of Chennai, if you see, it's not just IIT Madras which has its own incubation cell, IIT Research Park. IAC has them, and a lot of IITs have them. And there's quite a few startups in IIT Roper. So there a few startups are there. So they are one of our suppliers. So that is how I got to know there's a bigger network of research parks all around India. So you can mail them also and contact them for work from home options, and they'll be happy to offer you if you are good enough and you have enough projects to show that you'll be capable of handling it.
And one more doubt. We have Vishwasenan teaching us analog circuits this semester, as in semester 3. So, and half of the time he says you get this cadence tool up your sleeve, your job is confirmed. I'm not sure whether that fact is right or wrong.
What
coming
cadence
from
tool?
cadence, he just says cadence. He did not say whether it's cadence virtues or the specifications which Rohit are not told right now.
I think I'm guessing analog VLSI. On the side, it is a boom. Like I've seen many companies, even like Joseph Gladwin is doing that.
Yeah, he is doing
Yeah, LNS, like
oh my god.
for 5G
He's
deployment.
doing
Yeah,
amplifiers.
yeah, I think so.
Oh.
Yeah, the startup scene is more on 5G deployment, and 5G deployment like எல்லா A6 ICs, analog ICs, digital ICs, அதெல்லாம் like it's growing a lot. அது மட்டும் எனக்கு I am pretty sure. ஆனா I don't think so I'll agree with like cadence தெரிஞ்சா life settled thing from.
You can go ask him. He's somewhat friendly. You can just go ask him like what does he mean. Does college have license? I don't know.
Yeah, we do have license. Like he told us to come during Saturdays in case we would like to work on it. Because he also told that he would also get some ME students to help us out.
Oh. By the way, Rohit Ram is the one who taught the ME students to use that. That's like one of the best things.
Nice.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, cadence, there is a different version as well. I think if you're gonna do analog IC, oh, yeah, TechClub people, current TechClub people, is there an analog IC domain?
Girish Babu.
This time we don't analog IC.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, analog IC. Appo, I think when I was in third year, like when we were in third year, Appo and our seniors were teaching us how to design an op amp. But Anna, it was not as part of cadence. It was just LT Spice. But yeah, analog IC cadence. I don't know. I don't think so. Cadence is the tool. You can have there are free tools, right? LT Spice is a free tool. If you want to learn something, I think something that attracts people from these type of companies. Now LT Spice on there, and we did something right. Model Simma, something with National Instruments when we were doing digital IC. I'm not sure. Rohit now
Analog IC la what?
NI Multisim.
Yes. Second semester la COVID was we did.
Yeah. NI Multisim also is a good tool. LT Spice is the free version of NI Multisim.
Instead of NI Multisim, you can use Proteus. Proteus is industry.
Anna, Proteus you can't use Spice files.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think for IC design, analog IC design, the things you can put in your resume that like really like pathone, they're like okay, that's something really good is knowing of programming languages, mainly interpreter languages like Perl and Python. That somehow works even now, and On top of that is all those specific programming languages. Knowing Verilog is always a win if you're going to go for hardware kind of jobs. And on top of that, knowing C is the best thing you can do. Like C will be your bread and butter. Even if you're going anything hardware, C is your bread and butter. Spice is something. A spice is a good to know. Like if you know Spice, you pretty much know the entire range of how you can do analog. Verilog for digital design and C for embedded. I am pretty much done there. Yeah. As per tools, all the interviews I've gone till now haven't asked me about tools. So I don't think so. Putting a tool down in your resume will help. But then, if you're gonna go for employment, there are softwares called ATS softwares that checks for your tools. So like there's this AI which is used by companies like Workday and ICIMS that specifically scan for your resume and then checks for keywords that that the company may be looking for. So that those keywords will have the tools that you kind of mentioned. So like uh, if they are searching for somebody who knows Cadence, they'll expect the word virtuoso in your resume. If they are looking for somebody who's done embedded development, they'll look for the word embedded C or the word embedded in your resume. So I think putting your tools will make sense, but then it's not for the interview. It's just to game the resume tool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Why?
Yeah. Thank you, Rohit and Rohit Rambro, for this wonderful session. Your words were true, provided us lots of insights and clear-cut idea on how to crack an internship at IITM. All your works are truly inspiring for us, and your ideas and startups were mind-blowing. And Rohit Rambro, you made this session much more special. And I thank each one of you who has attended the meeting and hope you found this session helpful. Keep participating in our upcoming Tech Talks of our club. With this note, it's Pugar signing off. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Thanks a lot for coming.
Okay.